y'all. How y'all doing today? Y'all already know, like I said, man, all 2024, we're gonna be doing some interesting things in terms of trying to make sure that y'all educated and entertained. And we're gonna do that the whole way through 2024. Anyway, now, as I typically like to do, I'll drop like a dollar amount or something like that associated with the video. But just stick around. We might be able to do that today. You know what I'm saying? There's some interesting things that this young lady does that I think you all need to know about and should be a part of. And so, as always, look, all you got to do is go to my YouTube. My name is my name. It won't change. If you just type Rudis in, it's going to pop up anyway. Like, subscribe, share, and then comment something that you learned watching the video that you didn't know before you got here, because ultimately the purpose is to make sure that y'all learn something, and then we're gonna be able to bless you anyway. So this particular person, man, is super dope. West Side's own, you know what I mean? Like, we got to highlight our people for sure. We got to make sure that they known to a wide variety of people, especially when they just doing some amazing things, especially when their work affects something that's so dear to today's environment. Absolutely. It can make a vast difference on the outcomes for the individuals involved. And so, that said, it's very important that y'all tune in and take some of these nuggets of wisdom with y'all that she gonna drop for y'all, and also make sure that y'all check for what she got going on now and in the future, because it's some super dope, amazing things. But beyond all of that, first and foremost, you gotta know who I'm talking about and who you talking to. So, Miss Shakea Houston, why don't you go ahead and let the people know a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Shakea Houston, founder and CEO of Social Work Sunday Tea. Also, I'm a mental health therapist. I work for Mindful Behavior LLC. We're located 6815 West 63rd Street. I know I'm out over there by Midway area, but we service all over, telehealth, in person, you name it. A little bit about me. I've been working in mental health for 9 years. I worked at Columbus Manor on the west side of Chicago as a social worker, and working with the mentally ill population. We from schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, things like that. So just working in that population has gave me a variety of and a different outlook on people, places, and things. And it's been a blessing in disguise, because I really want to be a police officer. And right. But it was about how I knew I wanted to help somebody, right? Or help anybody, right? And so I kind of like I went to Tennessee State and got my bachelor's degree in sociology and criminal justice. And so I kind of like took on, I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back home. And I came back home and I didn't have a job. Did I apply for CPD? And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. So I didn't do it. So I ended up working. Someone's like, hey, I got a job as a social worker for a psych facility right down Jackson and Laramie. And I was like, I guess, because I never worked in psych. I never worked in, that population of people. So I was like, okay, I'll take the challenge. And I'm talking about like that first week, I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. It's too much. But after a while, I began to love it and really took on that challenge. So that's a little bit about me. And also, I don't know if we want to get into social work Sunday Tea.
We're gonna get to it, but let's start there with just the mental health profession. And so one of the things that you just mentioned, obviously, is that being involved in the mental health profession has changed your outlook on people, places, and just things in general. So let's start there. What has being in the mental health profession provided for you in terms of the people, places, and things, and the way that you look at it now?
That's a big loaded question, like potatoes, right? But I think me saying that it kind of illustrates like growing up how people with mental illnesses, we used to call them crazy. Oh, they crazy or they touched. That's how the old folks used to say. And I really didn't understand what that was until I got into this dealing with the psychiatric population. And so when I got in there, it was just like a whole brand new world.
Mm-hmm.
People that looked just like me around my age, even younger. The youngest person that was there was 17 with a
Mm-hmm.
mental illness. So it's like I didn't really know and understand that world. And
Mm-hmm.
so it gave me a better outlook on how I handle people, how I interact with people. And also, we can come from the same line, right? Let something traumatic
Mm-hmm.
happen. We can go to the other side, and I just take it. I don't take it for granted. I think, like I said, it was a blessing because it kind of homed in on how I interact with people and also things about myself.
Mm-hmm.
How much patience I have
Mm-hmm.
with people in general, people, places, and things. And
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of like gave me a broad, dynamic to loving people and showing compassion towards people, and especially for that population. They my people, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter where I am, somebody gonna find me with some type of mental illness, like, hey, they need some type of help. And I don't turn them away because
Mm-hmm.
um they're already exiled by their family members. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are just left there and nobody goes and see them. And I'm kind of like, when I'm working in that facility, I'm the only family that they have. In a sense, I'm working there 8, maybe 12 hours out the day. When I was working there, it was just to like try to create a atmosphere of positivity. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you have your behaviors. Yes, you have people who don't want to be complying with medication,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, people know who cares and who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
care, who don't care, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely allowed me to extend grace to people,
Mm-hmm.
even when we act out of line.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where does that stem from? Where's that coming from? Okay, all right. Let me
Mm-hmm.
chill out, because we don't never know what people are going through throughout the day on a
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day basis. It might be hour by hour, minute by
Mm-hmm.
minute. And so I handle people very delicately because I want to be handled in such a way.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
So because I know all mental health is not mental health related issues are not created the same. So
Mhm.
what and so I know you said bipolar, were you dealing with folks that were schizophrenic?
Oh yeah.
So schizophrenia,
Paranoid
uh,
schizophrenia.
so what were the different I don't even know if they call modalities, but what were the different ways that mental health showed up that you've dealt with so far?
Ooh. My experiences, different personality. We got to talk about personality disorders too. I mean,
Mm,
it all varies on the traumatic experience, or just the person in general, right?
mhm.
I even had a psychiatrist that was in the facility,
Mhm.
and he knew all of the terms, and I'm like, what happened? It
Wait,
was just
so you're saying a psychiatrist was in your care?
yes,
Oh wow.
yes, yes, and he just had a mental
Mm,
episode. Something traumatic happened to him,
mhm,
and he didn't come back from that. And
mm,
so it's just like I said, different walks of life,
mhm,
and people have different diagnoses. I have my own thing about that because some psychiatrists, they misdiagnose. Um,
mhm,
and so I'm kind of, and I was an advocate for them. I'm like, I don't think that's what that is.
mhm,
Like paranoid schizophrenia, sometimes you have delusions, you hallucinate, visual,
mhm,
audio, internal stimulate within your mind, right? Hearing
mhm,
voices, things like that. And we don't talk about those things because we like, oh, we see it in the movies, right?
mhm.
But when you actually see it in person, you like, now is this what this is? And
Right.
it's
Part of the reason why I asked, speaking of movies, before I
yeah.
lose my thought, was I really love the movie. Why am I blanking? Like that, I didn't want to lose it. Okay, so it was a trio. It was Glass. It was what was the Oh, well, it'll come to me. So anyway, the guy had DID, dissociative identity disorder, where he was playing like 8 different people lived inside of him. So when you say like when you're talking about people with multiple personalities, does that manifest itself? Have you been working with people who have all of these different personalities and they show up randomly?
Especially if they're cycling, right? Just say for instance they're non-medication compliant, like 3-4 days, maybe a week without taking a medication. You can see the difference because I mean I'm in there with the people, right? And I know them, like I know them. And so I know when they start to spiral, like hey, they start looking different, right? They get droopy and black around the eyes. Sometimes their eyes dilate. It looks, it's a scary experience if you when you first time in it, but some of the thing, or they might hoard that, and some of those are some of the symptoms, or they might not shower. They're not on their baseline of what they normally would do when you interact with them. I had moments where I had a client where they had multiple personalities. Like I was speaking to like 4 different people, and they changed. One was
in
my
like one sitting in one conversation. Like, does voice inflection and tone and all of that change, or they just
sometimes. And so like that's why I don't watch scary movies, right?
Right. And speaking of, the movie was called Split. That's the Split, and then Glass was the sequel.
Okay.
And the first one was Unbreakable, and I just loved that trilogy was super dope to me. But anyway, I was watching that. This guy had 23 different personalities living within him, all across a broad spectrum and at different moments, and then he couldn't remember what the different personalities were doing. And
right,
so
and saying, yes, because one personality might tell you to go and run out in the street. The other one might say, no, don't do that. It's like it switches. It's like it's like lights on, lights out, lights off, type of thing. And I encountered that, many times. And so when I first encountered it, I was like, I have no idea. I don't want to work here anymore. That's okay. And everybody's like, no,
you're like, I'm in a scary movie for real life.
Yes, and you're well, it's a locked facility, right?
Wow.
They have to buzz you in, buzz you out. That's just like at Hartgrove, right? Hartgrove, River Edge, things like that. You have to, because you just never know. And they give you crisis prevention training, CPI, crisis prevention, something. So they right, they go through psychosis, right? Psychosis. Thank you. But they definitely do that. And it's just different. It's just a different outlook on life, and people you gotta be strong to handle that, because it's like you're dealing with multiple things at one time, right? And I don't want to be all spiritual, but it is spiritual. It's like, okay, all right, who am I talking to? And sometimes some clients, I'm like, who am I talking to? Is this Mike, or is this Scott, or is this Jim? And if it's the right person, I'll be like, oh, okay, what's up? And so I interact, and it's as if it's okay. So as if I'm going with the motions of them. So if it's John, I'm speaking to John. All right, John, John have behaviors. John gonna get feces and smeared all over the wall, right?
Bless your heart.
Right. Or if it's Mike, he might pee all over the floor. I mean, you just have these different behaviors. If it's Tom, he might hoard everything. So I just go with and also care plan them, right, based off of their behavior and their diagnosis. We had a phenomenal social work consultant. Her name is Zoya. She's like, I still talk to her. She's like the guru, and it's called Stephen Greenwald, where they give us like treatment plans and how we based off of their behavioral symptoms. Like, just say for instance, we have a 24-year-old coming from St. Mary's Hospital with a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, anxiety. They give you a whole, and then you have to base it off of the first 14 days, right? You do observational learning the first 14 days while they're in the facility. And then after that, You kind of like just go with the flow, see what they do, different programming. If they have a criminal history, you put them in different groups, crimes and consequences. I ran that group. Things like that. So you kind of like observe them. And then once you see how they interact and some of their behaviors, because sooner or later, some of them might show up, especially if they're non-medication compliant. And you're like, oh, okay. So you have security and they always call the social worker. You know what I'm saying? They always call security and social worker and the nurse. And so we jump into action and, the social workers were the first line of defense. Versus the security, because we kind of like have to de-escalate, right? We have to reason with them. We have to talk to them and figure out what is it that's triggering you to have this behavior. Oh, they looked at me wrong. They did this. And, and if they do have schizophrenia and they see or hear things, we have to ask those questions. Are you hearing things? Are you seeing things? And if they say yes, okay, what are you seeing and what are you hearing? And sometimes I have to, it'd have to be by ourselves. And I always keep my back to the door, like at all times, because you never know, right? And so just having those kind of conversations. And sometimes if you build a rapport with them, they like, hey, I just need my medication. I don't feel right. Or a PRN, right? That's like emergency when they do have hallucination of or if they're having a behavior, things like that. You give it to them. The nurse gives it to them. And so, just having a kind of conversation and letting them know, like, hey, you all right? We good. What is it that I can help you with? It's like a whole thing, a whole training. And I really didn't master that until like maybe my second or third year. Still. And the thing is, can't trust none of them. You can be cool and build a rapport, right? Because things turn, tables they turn, right? We can be cool one day, but if they are in like having an episode, right, or behavior, they may not like the color red lipstick I have on. People are triggered by that. You might be triggered by if you got on a black shirt. I don't like black shirts because my mama used to beat me in a black shirt. Things like that. So traumatic experiences, they presents itself when people do have behaviors. Like people say they see graveyards. Right? They see bones. It is a whole. If I told you everything, like people wouldn't believe me. And I was just like, no, this is for real. Yeah.
But it's real though. So
real.
Look, let me piggyback off of that in terms of things like you just said about being first line defense in some respects, having to, be mindful of things you're wearing and other facets of the job that, just come with the job itself. So to that point, what do you find to be the most challenging aspect about being a mental health therapist?
Ooh. That's a good question. I think more so some of the challenges now, because I'm a full-time therapist now, right? That was being a social worker, but being a full-time therapist. Some people, I think the most challenging.
Wait. Let's start there. What's the difference between, you would say, a therapist and a social worker? Because I've often believed that it was almost like the same.
It's the same, right? It just depends on the dynamics as far as where you're stationed or where you're placed, right? So therapists, social workers can be therapists, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's no. I don't see any difference. It's no difference.
Okay. But the role that you're sharing, the one was a social worker role versus this one being a mental health therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's the title of the work. I'm a therapist. At the end of the day, I'm a therapist.
Right.
Right.
I got you. So what's now? Let's go back to the challenges. What would you say the challenges of being a mental health therapist?
Okay, so I think most of the challenges because people think that we're supposed to fix them. That's the most challenging thing. They think that we're on call. I called you and you didn't answer. I'm like, too. We had that hour. We had that 50 minutes.
Really?
Together. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And some people are more demanding than others. They think that you're their button. Okay, come on. Let's talk about this. Like, in the middle of the night. You're supposed to answer the phone calls. No, that's
Mm-hmm.
not how that goes. And the thing is, I think is they want us to fix them,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we do all
Mm.
this studying and
Mm-hmm.
getting all these books and what I'm saying, creating a treatment plan, you're getting
Mm-hmm.
all this progress notes and what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, and then you get up in session, yeah.
Say you ain't did nothing. How we expect you to get better if you ain't even put forth the effort, like in real life? So you just really want to talk to me. That's what you're saying is you just want to talk to me.
And that's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I look at therapy as, because life be life, and right,
For sure.
and the storm gonna come, right? And I do this in therapy as well, like illustration of how therapy works.
Mm-hmm.
Being in therapy, storm coming, right? Therapy helps you get that umbrella, that raincoat, that um um that poncho, your
Mm-hmm.
rain boots, right? It helps you weather the storm. So like giving you those coping mechanisms, those
Mm-hmm.
grounding techniques and things like that. And so when the rain does stop, guess what? You're wet,
Mm-hmm.
you're not wet. You
Mm-hmm.
dry. You know how to operate. You can still
Mm-hmm.
function even though when the storm do come. And so yeah, I just this is like my first year in full-time private practice.
Okay.
Katie, thank you. Yeah. Uh my supervisor always say don't work harder than the client. If the client
Mm-hmm.
is not, thank you, Katie. Yeah, do not work harder than the client. And I go by that now because like the transition from working in a facility to one-on-one is
Mm-hmm.
different. It's way different.
Mm-hmm.
Um versus one-on-one, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mindset shift. It's a choice. If you want to do better, you'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you don't put in the work, then I can't, I give you all the tools. I give you all the handouts you want to
Mm-hmm.
here, and we can talk about this, right? But at the same time, you have to make a choice if this is really what you really want to do.
So now I come at it from this perspective, right? So I'm a psychologist, and I always say that I think that people need both. I think you need a therapist and you need a psychologist. I
Yes.
think the therapist, and I could be wrong, so please correct me, really to me connects you with the emotional aspects of self, right? Really helping you to understand foundation, root
Mhm.
causes, make some connections for a better understanding of self.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they help you to heal the foundation that's broken. But I
Yes.
think once you get that settled, then you need the psychologist to take you to the next level, because the psychologist, not to say that y'all don't focus on behavior, because you do, but I also focus on behavior, habit, character, and the development of a person and trying to get them to the next steps in the same way, right? Creating interventions for them that is specifically for them. And now we're talking about, delving into assessing personality and assessing workplace behaviors and, um, other other factors that can define that person, such as like character strengths and some of the other assessments that a person like myself may use in order to help guide that person. Where are you at with that? How do you feel about a person having a therapist as well as a psychologist that can help them with, like I say, foundation building, but then taking the next step? Do you see a difference there at all, or do you think that it's a one-stop shop?
I mean, the more the help, the better. I
Mm-hmm.
think. As far as we use, I don't know, like the cognitive behavior therapy, right? As far
Mm-hmm.
as like with
CBT.
the CBT and
Mm-hmm.
the base is like kind of like help with the quality of life. It's the same kind of like same thing, different
Mhm,
assessments as well. So
mhm,
I don't think it's no different in my
mhm,
opinion. We're all on one wagon to provide the best quality of life and really identify the strengths and some of the things that has happened in the past to
mhm,
kind of like uproot them and kind of like put them in a different pot.
mhm,
'Cause I always look at people as plants, right? Either we're gonna look at the roots. Okay, what's going on here? Is this root dead, or you need to snag some off, and you just need to plant yourself. And I think that to answer your question, I don't think it's no different.
It's a big difference. I got you.
No.
No worries.
Yeah.
So to that.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Provide. Yeah. And yeah. It's all, yeah, definitely.
Right
It is
way.
helpful, Katie.
So one of the things, okay, so we talked a little bit about assessments, different types of assessments. A lot exists, and in fact, some folks could be assessed wrongly, as you mentioned earlier. But your role as a therapist, social worker, would be to make sure that you provide the proper treatment for that individual, regardless of what the paperwork says. You need to work with the person in front of you, and all of the machinations that they show up in. Right. So you talked about the Stephen Greenwald method.
Stephen Greenwald
method. You talked about, essentially group and, having to have those conversations to quiet the noise, if you will, for folks that may think they see bones in the graveyard, at the moment. But beyond that, though, you have to have some other modalities and or approaches. And so to that point, what do you use in your therapy sessions and how do you inject yourself into it? Because I know that you're a lively, bubbly person with a lot of personality, right? So like how do you shine and offer your individuality, your uniqueness to the approaches you use?
Ooh. I think for me, I create a safe space, right? I just be myself, right? And people know when you like, okay, all right. All right. I don't feel like this is a safe space. Like, or, I just kind of like feel them out first, right? I think I'm really, really more into energy, right? I think just feeling their energy in the room, seeing where they are, because I might come in the first time, client. I might come in there and like, hey, how you doing? You doing all right today? Tell me what's going on. How was your day? And they bust out crying, right? And so I'm just like, okay, different approach, right? It's just it varies between different people, but and I go with the flow there, especially if I'm doing an intake, right? Just kind of like what, asking about history, any family history of mental health, any substance abuse, any type of abuse, verbal, physical, any bullying, financial abuse, harassment. I ask those questions really, and if sometimes they deny it, but when we get in session, then it's something when they feel comfortable enough, then they start to spill it out. And so things change. But I use the
the DSM, yeah.
Right. This is the old version, but I gotta get the other one right. But I use it, right, to kind of like look at the criteria of what are they presenting? Are they having crying spells? Are they anxious? Are they excessive worrying? Are they have difficulty concentrating? Things like that. Intrusive thoughts, just based off of what they say, and look at this good handy dandy big book. And kind of like, go over it with my supervisor and like, hey, what do you think? Of course I'm gonna be assessing. I'm like, well, I think this is anxiety, right? And I kind of like go based off of that and then do a treatment plan based off of what has been presented, especially the symptoms, right? The presenting symptoms, lack of sleep, suspiciousness, just different things like that. That's my approach, kind of like letting them talk and I figure out the rest. Ask the questions, of course, so they can feel comfortable. But I think, I just come at it with a chill way. Like I was like, hey, you came to therapy for you're seeking something, and it's seeking you, so what is it that we can, work through and navigate, through this thing called life and what you've been experiencing. And so I get our, let them know like this is a safe space, all this good stuff. And we go from there. And all of my clients, they always come back. Because I give jokes, I'm saying I be, and I use a lot of metaphors, but so people can be understand and also just a human connection. Like, hey, you're not by yourself in this. It's other people that may feel this way as well. But right now you're feeling this. And what can we do differently to make you, like as far as to change that irrational belief about yourself, if it's low self-esteem, if you have imposter syndrome, things like that. So it's kind of like, I love CBT, but to kind of like change that irrational belief about something that that basically, makes them feel that way towards themselves. Because really, because the first thing I ask sometimes in therapy, name me 10 things you love about yourself.
You know what? I know that'd be difficult for folks, isn't it?
I'm like, don't worry about it. That's homework. That's okay. Just come
back. Yeah. You'd be very surprised how difficult that is for people.
Yeah. We can name 10 things we hate about ourselves. We don't like
ourselves. Spit those out quick.
Like, I don't like this. Like, man. And so I tell, sometimes I wear like this hat, it says positivity, right? And they be like, okay, you're weird. What are you doing? And I got this hat, it says positivity. I was like, don't speak negatively, right? About
I'm just programming your subconscious. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. I need you to see it, because when we see things, we believe it. Right. And so I implement that as well. But I that's their homework assignment, because I'm still getting to know them. Right. When we first encounter each other. Okay, I ask what's their, I say, what's your favorite color? I ask those things. It's kind of corny, but at the same time, I'm still building a rapport. I'm still getting information. Like the first 5 sessions, I'm still getting information. So it's an ongoing thing, because maybe the 10th session, they reveal more and more things. Like every session is a level. We land like this. We're not building the foundation on sand. We're building the foundation on bricks.
You know what? I had a question that I'm gonna come back to, because I didn't forget it, but we started to move in a direction that I'd like to go ahead and take it right into. So, how do you measure progress or success in therapy?
So, maybe like a month and a half in, I have them right. Okay, yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
I got you.
Yeah, you're right. If you don't like and love yourself, no one else can properly love you, right? It starts with you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Ms. Brown, we're talking about mental health and the challenges associated. And so what Shakea is speaking about is how she's worked with different individuals on different levels of the spectrum of mental health. And some of them come in with this difficulty in loving themselves, and so when she says, tell me 10 things that you love about yourself, for a person that is dealing with a mental health episode or any issues on the spectrum, it sometimes is hard for them to identify that.
Definitely. And
so success, you were saying a month and a half in.
A month and a half in, I have them journal.
Okay.
I have them journal in session, like, hey, what are we learning? What do you see the difference in yourself? Even though I keep a notes, right? I got a handy dandy notebook myself, right? And I keep notes of the things that they say from week to week, how they interact. Well, how I'm not how to interact. Well, how to interact with other people. The language, right, in which we speak. I also do the BAI, if they have anxiety. That's how I measure. Like
BAI.
The what is that thing? It's for anxiety, right? And so my mind is like bottled, but it's for anxiety. It's kind of like measure your anxiety if you have like shaking, choking.
Oh, so it's a scale or some sort of assessment? Okay.
Yeah, it's assessment, right? I give them assessments to see so the first interaction, I get where they are, right? If you have anxiety disorder. So I do the assessment. So like maybe at the end, like of the 4th week, I do it again to see if it's the same thing. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like, so I'm like, oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay, I feel you. Yep.
Yeah. So I kind of like do that. And I
So
kind of
now,
measure it out.
okay, so with this assessment, it is scale, like, so are you able to track the scale and see where folks are?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Now, look, let me ask you. So, are you doing longitudinal scale work with them? So, like, do you take this scale as it dwindles, right? As they're working with you, do you come back maybe months later? And if they, because you say your clients come back, or do they just consistently come to the point where you really
I know
don't
them.
have longitudinal? It's more just continuous.
Yep, continuous.
Okay.
And the thing is, with that, like nobody misses a session. I was like,
Okay.
"Don't you want to? We can skip this week. I think you're okay." No, no, no. And I'm just like, okay, all right.
I
you
would
know,
say so. I last had the fortune of being able to connect weekly with my therapist last year.
mhm,
She was a black woman, super dope, super dope. Dr. McLean. If y'all want to find out more about her, just type in Dr. McLean and she should be able to pop up. And she insisted that we meet once a week every
mhm.
Tuesday. And I was like, that's too much. She, no, you got it. And yeah. But for me, I'm a habit forming person. So if
Mhm.
we gonna do it every week, we gotta do it every week. So I made sure, like, I made sure I was there. So I can understand if you somebody who's yourself, right? And you are bringing this person the ability to dump, because weekly we go through stuff that we need to get out, and
Mhm.
you do it in such a way that makes them feel good about you and the process, and they can see their own growth. Yeah, we coming every week. I'm gonna
Yeah,
speak for them. I ain't been
yeah.
to you, but I'm gonna speak for them because of Dr. McLean and how she was. We coming every week. You hear me? For
Listen,
real.
they come every week, like faithfully. They was like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna be 5 minutes late, and if I'm
Right.
late. They was like, no, we'll wait for you. Like one
Right.
time I
You
got
hear me?
stuck by the train and they was like, we'll wait. And it was like 30 minutes. And of course I have to give them their time, right? Thank God I didn't have another session after that. But I gave them their time. They waited. They was like, no, I got something to talk to you about. And da da da. Da. But let me go back, piggyback. It's called the
Okay.
back back. Wait, I can't even, I don't know my lap. Back anxiety inventory, a BAI, right? It measure the intensity of your physical and cognitive anxiety symptoms. So
Okay.
that's, yes, if it's severe, moderate,
Mm-hmm.
um, or mild.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had a brain freeze.
No, trust me.
Yeah,
Listen,
so
I
that's
can
what that
understand the
is.
DSM is in your brain. All of these different interventions and techniques and tools and tips are in your brain,
Yeah.
as well as the other things that you work on that I actually want to shift over to, because I want to make sure that we focus on some things that aren't so rooted in this, which can be such an engorging conversation, which is mental health, because you do some other things outside of mental health that make you continue to come to life as well. And so, to that point, we named this particular episode Sunday Social Work Sunday Tea, and it's focusing on your journey and what you do, obviously, as a social worker and now therapist. But there is something more to it because it's called Sunday Tea. What does social work Sunday Tea actually mean? And how did you come up with it? And, what is it in general?
Okay, so Social Work Sunday Tea is a mental health podcast on Sundays at 4 o'clock. We spilling the tea, where everything revolving around mental health, and stopping the stigma, making people more comfortable enough to have conversations around mental health. Because in the Black community, we don't talk about these things now because of the pandemic. But I started in 2020 around the pandemic. It was
Mm,
real heavy, where I kind of like, okay, I'm gonna start a podcast. And I was working as a social worker then, and I was just like, and I had to work during COVID, like
mm,
watching people, and I think it was more therapeutic for me too, because I needed to talk about what I experienced and what I saw and things like that. So I mean, overall, when I get off of work, I'm still doing some type of capacity of mental health, and
mhm,
getting the word out and making people aware of, you know, different things, different terminologies,
Mhm.
and also getting other professionals, mental health professionals, to talk about different topics. We talked about depression, like depression during the holidays, imposter syndrome. We talk about mental illnesses. We talk about mama's boys. We talked about daddy's girls. We talk about the things that we normally don't talk about, and we talk about family secrets. Like,
Now hold on, the mama's boys one just went off to me because I consider myself a mama's boy.
oh, you need to look at that. I'm gonna have to bring it back because yeah,
Yeah,
like the different behaviors in mama's boys, right? And
yeah.
how they cling to their mothers, and especially if they have spouses
Okay,
or
well maybe I just think I'm a mama's boy because I don't cling to
maybe.
the OG though.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I love her dearly, you hear me? But I ain't clingy though at all. But
Well, thank
okay,
God for that.
we got to tune in though. Yeah, I'm off the teach.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
it's
not
on
hanging off my
YouTube.
mother's
Yeah,
teach anymore. No, that's not
yes,
me. Okay. Okay.
right. So, just different topics. So,
Hmm.
I just incorporated that, and I said, let me go ahead and do this. So I'm coming up on my 4th year, June
Okay.
27th,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Now
yeah,
my
it's been a
birthday June
journey.
24th. That's all. Your show was a cancer. That's all.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
But yeah, I did that, and then I also incorporate, different outreach, to the extension of the business.
Hmm.
Where when I first started, I was on Roosevelt and Pulaski, right next
Hmm.
door to the school, and
Hmm.
that yard area, and I was feeding people on my birthday. I think I made
Beautiful.
and I had PPE, and it was during the pandemic too. I was outside, like outside. PPE
Mm.
gear, we gave food, stuff like that. That was in 2020.
Hmm.
When I first did like community stuff, and I got a
Hmm.
big dumb grill and pulled it on in there, and I was getting people off the bus. I'm like, come on, eat. It's my birthday. Come on, eat. Right.
Hmm.
So it's always for me, it's for the people, it's for the culture, right? And just never know what people's next meal is coming
Yeah,
from. So I just wanted
for
to
sure.
do that,
Hmm.
and give people masks, hand sanitizer. I put all that out my own pocket,
Yeah.
and a lot of things, I just do it because God be like, do it. And I'll be like, all
Yeah.
right, all right.
I was listen.
Yeah,
So I was just in church today.
yeah, yeah.
Basically, it was a midday,
Mm-hmm.
a midweek service
Uh-huh.
because Hope Church over here in the Austin community,
Okay.
they do a lot of combining resources with the Chicago police and community leaders and
Mm-hmm.
other folks that want to be involved in the saving, if you will, of our community. And
Mm-hmm.
so the pastor, essentially, Pastor Epstein, super dope guy,
Okay.
just in general, but a great pastor as well. And
Yeah.
he basically was just giving the word in there on a Thursday,
Come
that
on.
was just right and true. And he
Yeah.
was talking about us stretching ourselves and saying, he had us to stretch out and was saying, okay, this is the limit by which God gave us to reach out to a person, but
Mm,
that is not the limit of the spirit that God
right.
has for us. So what
Right.
you're saying is, yeah, this is my birthday, but I'm stretching myself out to make sure that other
Yeah.
folks who may not get that meal today, tomorrow, or
Yeah.
whatever will get it while they're
Yeah.
here in my presence. That's definitely God.
Yeah. That's definitely, and I think, Jesus, he was out in those streets. So it's like,
Nah, you hear
that's
me?
the example,
Big
right? And
stepper.
yeah, like, listen, he was out there. And that was the pure example of being out there with the people. And
Right,
I'm talking about like boots to the ground, like,
right.
and that's like love. And I think, and personally, a lot of people haven't really experienced that,
Mhm.
love, somebody actually like caring about them, and being allowing them to be vulnerable with them, even
Right.
if you don't know them. And even in outreach, and I also did the same spot, right? I did the voters registration. That was in
Mhm.
2020 in October. And
Mhm.
so I just try to make myself available, and to give. And also, like I do the mental health fundraiser. Well, not mental health fund, social, the the adult prom and fundraiser. So that
Right.
first
That's what I
year,
was gonna say.
yeah,
Let's get into that. Let's talk about how else you're actually trying to serve the community and make sure
yeah,
that we connect you to folks that need to be where you are and where
yeah.
and you need to be where they at. So let's talk
Yeah,
about that for
because I
sure.
need some people to help me, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Help the people.
let's
And
talk about
so my first year was back in 2020. I had it at Nico's banquet hall, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick a nonprofit, right?
it.
So I'm a for-profit. So I have an herbal tea collection, all that good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? Because I'm not a nonprofit, I want to help a nonprofit and also kind of like promote and tell people what they do and how they help the community, things like that. So it was Wyman on Pulaski. I got in touch with Will. He's over that program, and I was like, hey, I want to be a blessing. So I think I gave 3,000 that year, 3,000 that year, and so that's like when I first got my feet wet. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So the next year, I gave 5,000 to Building Brighter Futures. I scoped them out, but all right, this is what we doing. I want to give back to your organization and be a blessing to you guys. And I just did it because again, God told me to do it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
The people don't even know who I am, but okay, and reaching out to people
Oh,
now.
listen. They don't need to know who you are. Here's the deal, right? There's this Lucci. Lucci has YFN Lucci. He has Bigger Rankin that
Okay.
is on some records with him. And Bigger
Okay.
Rankin, he's a Jamaican guy, and I love the accent, but regardless, he's always like, fame is when everybody know you.
Yeah.
Notoriety is when everybody know your work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
the thing, man.
Yeah.
Let's
You're
stop
right.
trying to be. Nobody need to know you as long as they know your work. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
That's what
Absolutely.
it is. Too much.
That was it. Thank you for rearranging
Listen,
that. Yes, it's all about the work, right?
that's
It's
just it.
not.
That's it.
I just
That's
want
it.
people to know the work, right?
Right.
And so I did that Building Brighter Futures,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave $5,000 to them. Big to do prom, adult prom, and for
Yep.
people that also never been to prom. A lot of people haven't been to prom. And
Yeah.
when you really talk about it, and it was like, I ain't never been to prom. So I had the picture
Right.
man in there. They taking pictures in front of the backdrop and all
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
they getting dressed up, right? And so that was a beautiful thing. And then this past year in 2023,
We
no,
brought it home. We brought it home. That was
yeah, yeah,
2023.
yeah, yeah, 2023. No, 2021, 22, 23, and then so 2023 at the Sheridan Suites O'Hare, Chicago,
Yeah.
where we gave to a house in Austin. I'm from Austin. I'm from Sister Moon Gladys
Right.
all
Hometown.
day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I love Austin, and I want to give back to Austin, my time, talent, and treasure. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me give it to a house in Austin. We gave $5,000 again, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
so this year I want to do it even more. We're at the same spot. And so I'm looking for a nonprofit. I have nominations that's open until March 31st to put people,
Yeah.
the
Let's
they did.
reiterate that real quick. For
Yeah.
the folks tuning in, if y'all from the Austin community, we're looking for a nonprofit to nominate to give some bread to. This adult fundraiser, adult prom fundraiser, which ultimately is for mental health folks. And I'm not saying that the organization has to be mental health related, but
Right.
the services in our community are largely in that mode, if you will. They're social service agencies. So to that end, this is a great thing that's happening, and the opportunity to nominate an organization to get the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10,000 is available until the 31st. You said?
Yep, 31st. They got into the 31st.
And listen, we're gonna make sure that we attach that to the video and everything, so y'all know where to go. Let's talk about price and everything for the folks that want to go that ain't never been to prom. So what's the tickets like?
So the ticket price is $100. This is the early bird special.
Okay.
$100.
Until when?
Huh?
Until when?
Until I gotta figure that out.
I like my birds early. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't got a whole lot to work with, but I like my birds early though.
Yeah, it'll probably be up until May or June.
Okay.
I'm thinking about
we
that.
got time.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and y'all got taxes.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I had him.
Run the numbers up. Run the numbers up. Run the numbers up all the way
right.
up.
So yeah. So it's $100, and then after that is $135.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's included?
So libations for 4 hours.
Okay.
I gotta be proper with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have raffles, we have a champagne toast, more and more surprises. Katie Harris, or aka Harris, and Wachovia King, they're gonna be our hosts. Like last year, they was really, real dope. They're my friends from Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. They're my besties. So yeah, they're gonna come in and do their thing. And I can't tell everything.
Right. No, you can't. But I just mean for the folks that's watching that don't spend that 100 or that 135 because they don't like their birds.
Prices
early.
Went up, right?
No, I mean, they gotta go up. Everything don't went up. It is what it is. And so but let's get the support up as well, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've given out 5. You've gradually increased the amount that you've been able to give to an organization. Yeah. And so, if we have it to do more, we should. We talked about God earlier. God gave as He had, and so should you. So if you tuning in,
yes,
let's go to prom. Let's go to prom.
Yeah. And I also have tables too. They're 1,200. And so your table of 10, everybody pitch in, and y'all get your friends and your family. Y'all get a table too, So, and we also have sponsorship opportunities as well. It's on my website. The different packages, promoting your business and your brand and things like that. Making it affordable so you can get your business and your things out there. Oh, you had a great time last year. Yes. It was a great time.
It was a good time.
Great time. It's called Emerald City. So I kind of like incorporate Emerald City. Everybody in the Wiz, right? I kind of like took that from there, where everybody wants to go, right, to find the wizard, right? And so and kind of like creating this great space and this great energy, right, to give and to be around good people. And so that's exactly what the adult prom and fundraiser Emerald City will be about this year. Being around good people, more good people, right? And giving back, and after the prom is over with, I do volunteer after it's over with. My time, talent, and treasure. Might give them a party, might give some. I definitely give time, I don't have no problem volunteering. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and I've been doing that for the past 4 years now. So it's been beautiful.
Let's so what I wanted to do is circle back to the work, and because you've talked a lot. Well, let me do this first before I circle back to the work, but we're gonna get back there. One thing you touched on briefly, and it's in the name of the title of this video. We call it Social Work Sunday Tea. You talked about having a for-profit tea company, but you didn't really delve into that. So let's get into that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Right. So you got your mental health, and then you have your physical health, where I have 5 tea blends that help out with your mental and physical health. You have chill, it helps out with anxiety and stress. You have heal, it helps out as far as building your immune system. You have the elderberry, the turmeric, the ginger root, the cinnamon, the cloves. You got that to help build that system up, your body up. Then you have fresh, it's like soothing of the stomach, any bloating. You got the chamomile, you got the peppermint, the spearmint, all that good stuff. Then you have sip, where it's a sweet tea, you can have a hot or a cold. And then you have night if you have trouble sleeping at night.
You want to go night?
You want to go night? Yeah, definitely. So those are the tea. I created that like I was like, well, since I got Social Work Sunday tea, all
Yeah.
right, let me go ahead and get this tea
Yeah.
business
That's
on.
good though. I like that. I like the pairing. I mean, the diversification of business. You
Yeah.
know, you're a therapist and
Yeah.
teas generally is chill. Like there's
Yep.
this whole combination there. So one of the things that we will be doing the entirety of 2024 while we do these type of videos is associate a dollar amount or some purchase or something with the video. So for those that's watching, my name is my name. It won't change. YouTube, Rudis, DeAndre Rudis, DeOndre. Like, subscribe, share, comment something that you learned by watching the video that you didn't know before. And I am going to purchase some of your tea. Okay. And I am going to give it to that individual that does those things.
Okay. I got you.
So, I will make sure that my phone is dead. Otherwise, I generally like to purchase and put it right in the camera so folks can see that like this is legit.
Yeah.
We've given away some hoodies.
Yeah.
We've given out business consulting sessions this year. We've given out cash. Yeah, I did cash one day. I did cash $25.
Okay.
All you gotta do if you go back. Oh, we've done vegan food. The last person I had on
Michelle.
Michelle, yes.
Look,
Michelle.
them tacos. You have tacos.
I've had all her food first, but nobody commented on that video. So that $50 that I sent her is still up for grabs. Go watch that one. It's called Thank God for Vegan Treats. Like, subscribe, share, then comment something that you learned by watching that video that you didn't know. And there was a whole lot in there. So please do that. And that $50 is still out there in the wind. But I mean, we giving money and items from people in our community away the whole year. Like we entertaining, we educating, and we blessing the whole year 2024.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yes. I'll put
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the teas, love it. And I'm gonna make sure that I purchase immediately following this, but the battery dead on the other phone that I have to cash out.
You good for it.
You already. So now we're gonna bring it back. I just got two last questions in the regard of the work. So man, you do a lot, obviously. And in the field that you're in, you have to make sure that folks focus on their self-care. So how do you prioritize your self-care while supporting others in their mental health journey beyond all the other things that you do?
What's that? Self-care. Okay, so how that I mean I do have a therapist, right? So I have a therapist. I check in maybe every 3 weeks, check in like, hey, this was going, or if it's something, I check in. I give myself timeouts. Sometimes I get up in the morning, 4 a.m, and I meditate. I journal, kind of like prepare myself for the day, and so like when I get home, I'll be like, I be tired, but I definitely kind of like that's what I do, and I keep going, and I think that I do have pauses and I do take vacations.
Okay.
When I can.
When was the last vacation you took? That's just me being nosy.
Oh, when was the last vacation I took?
Yeah, it's been too long then.
No, I went to Miami in December. Didn't nobody know I went.
Oh yeah, now them the best ones though. I ain't gonna lie.
Nobody know I went. I went for a Tank concert. So yeah.
Okay, all right, I love it. Now, all right,
yeah, so
I'm mad at that. I ain't mad at that. That's dope. I like that.
Yeah, so I just leave. I'm like, hey, I gotta go.
Man, listen.
Go. If I got the money, I'll be like, let me put this over to the side. I know I got an extra plan. I'll be like, okay, let me go. I need to go to see Katie Bug in Tennessee. Tennessee is like home to me because
when you went to school, HBCU,
Tennessee State University. And so I need to get there. I know I'm going for homecoming, but I need to go before homecoming. But yeah, I need to like steal away real quick. But that's how I take care of my mental health.
Okay.
I disappear. I might get off the grid for a little bit.
Right.
Just to check in with me. And I got a teenager, I gotta figure out.
Yeah. Single mom? Are you a single mom?
I am a single mom, yeah. So I'm juggling my
Fellas. No, just no.
So look, I do my work, right? I try to
Yeah.
be a good friend and and check in with people, you know what I'm saying? I know life be life and I check in with myself, meditation. I try to do spa days, but that's maintenance or whatever. But I mean, just not do sometimes I do nothing. I just lay in the bed.
Right. The right way. The right way. I
I go
have
smoke
several of
cigars
those
though.
days for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I go smoke
Yeah,
cigars.
you go smoke some cigars? Yeah.
I go, yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, a lot.
I owe
So
y'all a visit. I
do
haven't been in a minute, but I'm
yeah.
trying to get past the dissertation phase. In
No,
fact, I defend my dissertation 4-4. So
okay.
yeah,
You
I'll be
got this.
Dr. Rudis. The next time we have a conversation, I'm
I'll
more
be
than
like,
welcome to
hey,
be Dr.
doctor.
Rudis. Yeah, and please, by all means, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it
yeah,
because I earned it.
definitely. That's exciting. Yes.
Man. So look, I got one last question for
Okay.
you. And that question has to be, so what advice would you give to someone that was considering therapy for the first time?
Ooh. My advice, go in with intentions.
Mhm.
What is it that you want to discover? What is it that you feel like it's a void or something is missing, right? Or
Mhm.
what do you want to check in with yourself? What do you want to hold yourself accountable for? That's my advice that I would give to someone the first time going to therapy. It's not, oh, it's something wrong with you. It's not that.
Mhm.
Everybody needs somebody to help them along the way, along the way on this journey. I also think life is like a marathon, right? It's not a race. You just don't we don't
Mhm.
sprint and we done. It's a marathon. We got stop points. And therapy is kind of like, if you want therapy to be a stop point where you can
Yeah.
go to, allow that to flow and take place, and don't let anybody discourage you or make you feel some type of way, because the people that be saying, oh, I don't need no therapist, I don't need no therapist, be the main
That's
ones
a fact.
that
Man,
have
if you don't go talk to somebody and unpack,
right.
you know.
They're the main ones that make you want to make you go to therapy, if you really think
Mhm.
about it, because a lot of people, they don't know how to regulate their emotions, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They just all over the place. And
Yes.
so I say, don't let nothing stop you from growth, growing, evolving, right? If it's
Mhm.
anything that you want to do, just say, okay, this is what I want to do, and be
Mhm.
intentional about that. And
Mhm.
then knowing, growing, going into therapy, you're gonna have to put in that work. You're gonna find
Fact.
some stuff about yourself that you do not like. You like, oh,
Yeah.
I am like that.
Yeah.
I'm selfish. I'm this. I'm that. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's ugly. It's
Yeah.
ugly because at the end of the day, we all wear masks.
Yeah, for sure. The Japanese say we wear three. The
Yeah,
ones that we show to our friends and family, the ones that we show the people outside of that, and the ones that we show ourselves.
yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't like what we see in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to get to a place where we want to see ourselves in the mirror and look at ourselves and say, oh, I love this about me, I love this
Mhm.
about whatever it is, you know and I think that's my advice.
Yeah.
If you really want to do this, do it. Let's do it. Put in the work, and watch yourself grow.
Yeah.
Right? We all flowers, we bloom in different timing, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that it's the right time, right?
Mhm.
Don't be impulsive. Just be like, I want to do this. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
right? Just think about these things, because you got to be committed to it.
Yeah.
Just like
And
we
can
committed to watching Love and Hip Hop. We committed
fact
to,
binge
going
watch a
to,
whole season is sit there with popcorn, tissue, candy, and everything in between. That's facts.
right? We got to be
Yeah.
committed to it, because the thing is, we don't be committed to ourselves.
Right.
It's another thing,
I
right?
like
But
that. Yeah. Like
but
that.
you
Be
got to be
committed to
committed and
yourself.
stay
Yeah.
committed. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to stay committed. Yeah,
And I just
that's
want to
my
add this as an additional, because this came up obviously with what we were talking about today. Be willing to do the work though. Don't go in, be intentional, be committed to yourself, but also be willing to do the work. Because
Mhm.
understand, therapy is not just going to talk to somebody
Right,
and talk through things. It's about also doing things to get you out of the particular situation that you're in.
right,
So
right.
I just
Be
want to add that.
consistent.
Now I
Yeah.
ain't no therapist, but I've been going to therapy on and off for probably the last 8 years now.
Okay.
You know, at different times for different issues and reasons.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
wholly believe in at least the ability to get whatever's in out so that you can have a much better relief about said thing and hear it from a different non-biased, you don't know me perspective. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
need
because
that. Can't
sometimes,
always go to your friends that's gonna take you back, you
right.
know, or the boyfriend that you really don't want to be with, but you sitting here telling him everything that he don't need to know. So can't
Yeah,
always
yeah,
do that. Go
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
else. You know what
But
I
the
mean?
thing is, therapists, they hold you accountable, like for things
Yeah.
that you say, like, hey, you just said that right. How did that sound when you said that? And then you kind of
Right.
like, that happened to me. And I was like, I don't know how I feel. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah.
You be like, ooh, it's okay.
Right.
I have to reel that in. I have to digest that. So,
Yeah.
but no, like I just think that, it's definitely a journey.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
journey. Yeah.
So look, I want to make one more disclaimer and then I'm gonna give you the big screen. When I do that, listen, you can say whatever you like to say in closing, let people know who you are, where to find you. Make sure you let them know about Social Work Sunday Tea. Make sure you let them know about the adult prom uh, and everything else that they need to know, where to find you, where to follow you, and all of that good stuff. But before that, again, we are associating tea with today. So make sure that you go to my YouTube. My name is my name, it won't change. It's DEONDRE, and you can throw that Rudis on the end, and you will find me. Like, subscribe, share, and comment something that you learned by watching this video that you didn't know before you got here. It could be a saying, it could be anything, but I'm gonna purchase some tea, and that tea will be yours. And we're doing that all 2024 because we educate and entertain, and we're giving away. And with that, I am gonna remove myself and give you the big screen.
Hey everybody, welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am a mental health podcast. Hope to see you. I'm coming back April 7th. Be there. You can find me on all Instagram platforms. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, on all social media. You can go to my website, www.socialworksundaytea.com. Listen, I communicate back, all that good stuff. And also September 28th, 2024 is our adult prom and fundraiser. Adult prom and fundraiser, Emerald City. Listen, get your tickets on the website. Go to www.socialworksundaytea.com. Be there, be square. It's going to be an amazing time. But yeah, thank you guys and love you guys and hope to see and talk with you soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you. I don't
Yes.
have anything else left to say. And so what I like to say in closing is class dismissed.